Question 1. What are some of the similarities and differences between medieval Jew hatred and modern anti-Semitism? Some similarities I noticed between medieval Jew hatred and modern anti-Semitism is that Jewish people are being blamed for everything by the Germans and the Nazi Party and were considered to be impure. In today's world, Israel is known very well for having a large Jewish population and under a lot of political skepticism. Also, they are known for secretly running governments and controlling the economic system. Another correlation is between them, is that in both times there was a lot of negative stereotypes about them that I've heard of, such as being greedy, powerful, and even disloyal. Some differences that were that in the Nazi times they were justifying killing them by saying it was to keep their country's bloodline pure. This is a major difference between modern anti-Semitism because they were openly and in secrecy killing so many people, and that is a big difference, clearly. Question 2, describe how gender and sexual norms influenced the rationalization of Jews in modern anti-Semitism. What I said was Jewish men in the 19th century Europe were considered to be very weak physically, very intellectual, but cowardly, and effeminate and overly emotional. This idea of thinking is just fed into the stereotypes even more than Jewish. Yeah, it just kind of fed into it even more, and Jewish people were considered to not even be real men. Therefore, in Germany, they were not fit to be citizens. Soldiers. Oh yeah, they're not fit to be citizens, soldiers, or hold any important jobs of power. In Nazi propaganda, the Jewish men were perceived or to be seen as both sexually deviant and predators. Also, they seemed to be always just scheming something, but very weak at the same time. Question 3. Choose one image either from Der Stumor or the poisonous mushroom and describe how it visually represents anti-Semitic ideas. I looked at the image from Der Stumor, and then actually I just kind of looked at both, but I focused on the poisonous mushroom one. What I noticed in it is that there was a man with very dramatic anti-Semitic traits, such as his large crooked nose, an unkept look, for example, he just wasn't shaved. Also, he is standing in a street-like setting. He is holding candy out to children who look cautious, and the boy is reaching in, but the girl is holding back. So it kind of shows how they're cautious, In the background, they seem to be living in a decent-looking town, and the picture of the man is unlike the other people in the streets. He looks dangerous and just more scary in general. Question 4. How is the application of anti-Semitic ideas in the storyline, in the filmmaking, etc., in Jew Swass similar but also different from the anti-Semitism in Der Sturmor and or the poisonous mushroom? Some similarities I see is that they are both having very strong and overwhelming anti-Semitic messages being put out. They are saying that Jews are manipulative and deceitful. They both seem to show that the Jews being morally corrupt. They both show that Jews should not be in German society, and I guess just are poisonous in their society. They both are dehumanizing through stereotyping. Some of the key differences I saw are the way the audience sees them. They're hitting a lot of different target audiences. The Poisonous Mushroom is a children's book, for example, and then the Judd Sub is a film, and the other one is a weekly newspaper. So a lot of different, they were just hitting all the different audiences, getting it to everybody. And then what are some of the similarities and differences between Nazi anti-Semitism and Nazi persecution of gay men? I thought some similarities. They were both put into a place put into place to achieve the same goal, to maintain and keep their Aryan bloodline pure. They saw gay marriage as something mentally wrong with people, and therefore they were justified to be killed or tested on or put in prison, because it was illegal. Both Jews and gays were seen as threats to the German people. They were also both targeted by the government and could be arrested and put into prison whenever. This meant that they basically had no rights, and if seen, they would be thrown into prison and likely killed. Both of these groups were dehumanized and stigmatized very badly. They were both subject to police monitoring, denunciation. So I guess like the neighbors and coworkers could like tell on them. They were forced to tell on them. They could be arrested without due process and sent to concentration camps. They used science to justify their case, their case on why they were able to do that. Being gay was considered a disease, and being Jewish meant you were just biologically inferior to them. Some differences they had were that they aimed to exterminate every Jewish person, and they only wanted to get rid of the homosexual behavior, and not necessarily like the people, but just they were focusing on the behavior. The Jews had simply no rights whatsoever, and the gay people were targeted under the law that stated male sexuality activity is illegal. Gay people were often subject to forced labor and medical experiments, while Jewish people were mass murdered and, concentration camps and all that. Finally, post-war recognition was different. The Jewish were seen as a surviving race of a terrible tragedy, and the gay people were almost completely ignored. So, there you go. Thank you.